Urg is great to get as a pal, playing as Green Jesus. No, I definitely make it my mission statement to try and get all the named uniques when you're playing as the Messiah. It's so satisfying to have an army. You have Saint Roka, Urug, and oh, what is Necromancer Orc? Starts with an N. Oh gosh, I'm blanking on your name. So sorry, Necromancer Orc pal. I don't actually appreciate you that much, so I don't feel that sorry. And for that, I should probably be sorry. But regardless, that is just to say that getting all the named uniques by your side and at your back is so satisfying each and every time. Got those sturdy bones for low encumbrance too. Clearly game will reward some crystal armor. Hey, I wouldn't mind whatsoever. Wouldn't that be swell? Also, AC ring. Don't mind if I do. Let's immediately pick that up and throw that buddy on. Already looking a little better than we were a minute ago. Necromancer. I like the creative slant there. Hey, thanks game. Nurgle. Of course, we were talking about Nurgle. Perfect timing there, buddy. Probably should have thought before immediately rushing in to fight you, but turns out we're okay and we do win, so never a doubt in my mind. Easy choices. Fantastic. Another condenser vein. I mean, useless for us at this point, but it is my favorite evocable, so it's a good omen at the very least to come across another. And then immediately get smacked the other way as we see an 8-headed Hydra. Oof. I don't like you. That's very scary. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about lopping heads. Unfortunately, we're not going to be getting rid of any either. What do we have? We could try and paralyze you. I'm guessing... Oh, honestly, I thought odds would be a lot worse than 37%. In fact, yeah, I'll try that out. Heck yeah, bud. That's one way to take on an 8-headed Hydra. I thought that fight was going to be an absolute nightmare. I will gladly take that. Keep IDing stuff as we go here. Magic regen, not necessary, thanks game. Leave that one behind for now. And beautiful. Not too bad. So we also have seen that we have Shoals and Snake for S branches. Both the scary branches, but hopefully we'll be okay moving forward. It does mean that we'll get a nice amount of throwable objects, so that's always pretty sweet. Plus the opportunity to potentially find ourselves with a Boulder Beetle. Where did you go? There you are. But potentially find ourselves with a Demon Trident. Wouldn't that be nice? Also beautiful to have poison at our disposal here for the Boulder Beetle. And just as we level up, we do get the level 3 giant claws absolutely shred our gloves and have to leave them behind. So we lose 1 point of AC, which is a shame, but shouldn't be the end of the world here. And polar bears, let's definitely split you up a little bit. I think 2v1 should be doable. Looks like it, at least for this fight. Maybe we got lucky. So in that spirit, let's protect ourselves and play it a little bit safer for these last two. Fantastic. And another torpor snail is never a great look. Being slowed is always a bit scary when we're in lair and don't know what's going to approach us, but fortunately just a bunch of dream sheep. Now that I can stomach. And we'll continue on here. Coming up to 2 ID scrolls. Let's get reading, shall we? Ooh, scroll of acquirement. Got lucky on that identification, and let's take a look immediately, shall we? The Staff of Cold. The amulet O2 Decor. Another Reflection brand amulet, this time with resistance to electricity, which we are kind of lacking in. Then, of course, the +6 Magin Bow, one of my favorite unrand arts. Unfortunately, not great for us. I think it's a 2-handed staff, and I am pretty happy with the shield version of our run here so far. Such a fun item. You end up losing some health each time you cast spells with it. I'm kind of curious how this staff interacts with Genie, now that I think about it. But Regardless, just wanted to take the moment here to appreciate the Majin Bow because I do really enjoy it, and I think it's one of the very fun, more flavorful unrand arts you can come across. Not for us, unfortunately. And 850 gold pieces. So really the amulet's the only good thing here. Question is, would we want to switch out ours? We'd be trading poison resistance for electricity resistance, which might actually come in handy because we need our luck and our poison for Snake when we eventually head that direction. So maybe we'll switch over to the electricity themed amulet and use the resistance poison ring we got rid of, right? I called it trash, said we'd never need it again, and threw it into the garbage. Whoops. Maybe shouldn't have done that. Because now I don't really want to switch to the Swamp Dragon scales because our current armor is a lot better in that regard. But hey, that's fine. We'll take this amulet for now. We'll make our decisions in the future. Or we can take 800 gold and buy stuff from that shop. In fact, we should just buy stuff from that shop. I think we already have enough money to make a decent dent in our shopping list here. I've just been putting it off. And in a similar regard, I've also been putting off looking at our skills. I have no idea what's been going on in this department. Evocations has been climbing steadily here, looking nice. Shields, I believe, has a cap put on it. In fact, both those do. Fantastic. Once these reach their caps, I definitely wanted to start training some throwing. We will want pole arms up to 14 eventually, but there's not a huge rush on that. And then more evocations will be coming down the chamber as well. But I'm actually happy to just leave those running for now. I expected something horribly wrong to have happened in the meantime, but can breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, Holy Word Scroll. Definitely don't need to be carrying that around. Absolutely useless for us here. Ooh, and Rue believes we're ready to make a new sacrifice once more. Fantastic. Ooh, and this is definitely going to be a slightly trickier one here. So as discussed, sacrificing Artifice just not going to happen. Sorry, Rue. I love you, but not that much. Again, the option to sacrifice experience. And last but not least, sacrificing an eye. So yeah, causing us to have a much harder time hitting targets, which is interesting. So just considered a modest sacrifice. I'm guessing it's not too bad. A bit of a slaying deficit is equivalently. I guess not really, because slaying also contributes to damage. This is just on the accuracy sides of things. So maybe it's like using an amulet of inaccuracy or something like that. Well, you are turning around a sphere where he's asking you to go full Odin. Okay, when you put it like that. I mean, we're already leaning towards the eye, but yeah, we want to look cool. I mean, hopefully we're not going to be running around accidentally mistaking people for harpies like the other one-eyed denizen that we just came across, but we could pass too. So I believe that letting them sit like this makes it take a long time for another trade to come. If we reject sacrifices, it's a similar timing to when we take one. And of course, the third option is just to take them. And does any Rue stuff need invocation? I don't believe so. I think it scales just off piety, fortunately, so that's one less skill that we can ignore training up. And you think as long as we shower every 4 levels, you will avoid harpy vision? Was in the patch notes? Oh, okay, good to know, good to know. Fantastic. We just have to make sure we find a good shower stall somewhere in the dungeon. I'm sure there's some nice places lying around. Okie dokie, do we want to sacrifice an eye? It's probably going to be rough, and we're going to be regretting the sacrifice the whole time. But it would be cool, not just in the thematic nature of going full Odin run, but also, imagine how cool we'd be. We'd have an eye patch and everything. I'm sure we could craft one up, use the hides of our enemies or something like that. Go through the rest of the dungeon looking like quite the badass. And we can always resort to evocables to get around our accuracy issues, maybe, hopefully. We'll try it out. I'm sacrificing an eye. right eye vanishes and the world loses its depth. So gotta be careful. No longer gonna have quite as great of a depth perception as we used to, but that's fine. Because as a trade-off, we now gain Power Leap. So we can use 5 magic points and get exhausted in order to Power Leap. I think it jumps us and lands in a 3x3 square, dealing damage to all enemies. So that's pretty neat. We can double check. Oops. With a quick read here. Performs an incredibly fast leap to a targeted location, causing an explosion upon landing, which damages all adjacent foes. Amount of damage done increases with piety and experience level. Fantastic. So now not only do we have a sick eye patch and looking very cool with only a single eye, we can also do superhero landings in the middle of crowded enemies. Really show off in a big way. Sounds fantastic to me. I was immediately going to drop the potions of magic that we just ID'd, and then I realized that we might want to keep those around to keep powering our Power Leap ability. With the sacrifice that we made to, what should I call it? Why am I forgetting all the sacrifice that we made? In fact, I've forgotten most of what I was just thinking about in general. Ah, right, we sacrificed our magical essence, losing some maximum magic points. Oh, got there eventually. Brain just immediately blanked on me, betrayed me at the most crucial of moments. So having only 11 magic points definitely means we run out pretty quickly, even on cursory god ability usage. But we see a volcano here, which is definitely interesting to me. We'll switch over to our fire resistance amulet. We will drop, I think, some of these maces for now. Maybe keep the freeze mace around. Still 1.5 attack with that, so not great. Don't know if we'll actually use it, but we'll carry it in. Just wanting to free up some space. Magic mapping can drop for now. Teleport we won't, because that might save our life. Like 3 slots should be enough. Protection from cold we can drop for now, and we just have to remember to go through that pile and recollect our things on the way out. Beautiful. Let's take a peek here. Okay, so it's not the collapsing volcano. It's also not the giant lava pool fortress. What volcano is this? Oh, it is the giant lava pool fortress. Never mind. I'm a fool and ignore everything that I think and say, apparently. Fortunately, bats are no problem whatsoever with a lovely polearm at our disposal. Just poke those buddies down without having to worry about chasing them around the whole level. Fantastic. And if everybody could again just come my way, beautiful. Thank you for the convenience. Such nice monsters, so kind. And let's take a peek. What are we fighting up against? Hell Knights is a little bit sketchy. Two-headed ogre should be doable at this stage. Oh geez, they all have flaming maces, large quantities. Let's bring you all out on a little bit of a walk then instead. Can blast you like so. Fantastic. Let's just keep that up for the first few hits here. Just try and get as much damage laid down as we can. In fact, I think I will burn this entire thing out to finish the job. Fantastic. Flame resistance armor we could potentially take, but I guess we don't really need. Obsidian statue. It's a wee bit scary. Let's leave that alone for now, shall we? What do you even do? You summon in like demons and stuff. Summon minor demon, summon demon. So that's exactly what you do. Fantastic. 70 health on you, eh? Very resistant to things. We could use some throwing implements. Try and see how that goes. We don't have any training in that department though, so not great. I wonder what other treasures are in here. Fire dragon scales is kind of interesting, and a bunch of money we don't really need. So let's leave this alone for now, and maybe finish off the rest of the volcano, shall we? Hello friend, right this way, please and thank you. Ah, there we go. Finished exploring. Now back into the tough decision mode. Let's at least step in. We'll see what types of demons you bring into existence. If they mesmerize us, can I close the door and interrupt it? Maybe. Let's see. Boomerang actually did some damage, more than I expected it to say the least. The question that I'm mulling over is, do we want to sacrifice like our javelins for the cause here? Because we could definitely start slinging javelins and hit them even through the demons. Alternatively, we could use something like Power Leap to get in there. Oh, just like Safe had mentioned as well. It does mean we're committing to the fight a bit, and I'm slightly concerned about that. 70 health should go down relatively quickly. Let's get a little bit on a stretch here before we decide. And let's see, if we Power Leap, how far can we go? Okay, we can only jump 3 steps. So we'd want to step in a little bit first. Step. You know what? Let's do this. Let's commit. One more step. Then let's jump in and blast you. We need to just do as much damage to the statue as quickly as we can. In fact, let's corrode it with acid even. Fantastic. And we should be able to take it out pretty quick. Take one more look at you. Are you resistant to electricity? You are, unfortunately. That's not great. But we can go for another acid here. 100% chance to hit. Seems good to me. Fantastic. Slightly scary, but we managed to get through, and honestly, quite a decent haul here. Immediately grab the haste potion. +2 even star of flaming. It's a real shame we didn't go maces. Didn't go for the hard mace pivot, because that's actually quite nice. Fire Dragon Scales we don't need. We fortunately have good fire resistance this time around. And I guess that's that. Head out of here in one piece. Fantastic. Pick up some of the trash we left lying outside, and back on the road again we go. Hello friends, there's a nice gap that I'd like to lead you all back to, if that's alright with you. The elephants can push us through, of course. That should be a-okay. As we get surrounded by blink frogs on the back end. Want to take some steps back, because having the alarm trap in sight range when you're fighting blink frogs, not usually a great thing. You never know when one might pop to just such a location to actively trigger that on their way back. And the rest of you, let's just bring some of you upstairs. Fantastic. I was kind of hoping most of the blink frogs would be left behind, but worked out in the end here. Come on, blink frog, just die to the poison already, please. Come this far. There we go. Fantastic. No problems whatsoever. Head back to that same stairwell, finish off the job, continue exploring the level here, shall we? Josephine. We don't have any negative resistance, so I don't necessarily love the idea of fighting you. I really should go up and buy that File of Floods. I keep talking about going up to that shop that we left behind and never doing it. But let's change that, shall we? Let's go grab Box of Beasts, File of Floods, maybe even all those Ice Blast charges. It all seems pretty nice to me. We do have a decent chunk of change at the moment as well, so at least both the Vocables, maybe the Wands we'll hold off on for now, but just keep it available as an option for the future. And what can we drop for the time being to free up some space? I don't really want to leave my mutation potions all the way up on D6. It's going to be quite the trek to ever retrieve them in the future. Probably these maces can go. I keep carrying them around as potential swaps, but I don't think we'll ever really use them. So let's drop those for now. Head back to Lair 5, shall we? Beauty. Right. Should have paid attention to which stair we came down, probably. We wanted to be a bit safer. Let's File Floods Josephine, get rid of spellcasting abilities. Can even just take you all upstairs, I believe. Beautiful. That's much more manageable. In fact, let's kill this frog right away with poison. The Wraith's a bit more of a pain here. In fact, there we go. Okay, I was worried that we might start having to reach into our consumables just to get through that one piece. But we're okay. We're A-okay. Let's take you three upstairs and finish the job, shall we? Fantastic. So we're still definitely on the lookout for some more armor class. We're not in a hugely positive spot in that regard. For a melee fighter, 18 AC at this stage in the game isn't quite what you want to see. Definitely not enough to trivialize this Hydra fight as much as I would like it to. But that's A-okay as we managed to clear out the rest of this floor. I'm hoping that was also the hardest fight we'll come across here and there. At least until we go down to the bottom floor, which we don't need to worry about quite yet. Hello, my friends. Goodbye. Onwards we go. 7-headed Hydra. Things just keep getting bigger, don't they? At least we managed to put down enough damage with the boomerangs early on to finish the job. Love to see it. Dragon and Cane Toad we should have probably been a little bit more cautious with. Yep. Even with turning the Cane Toad blind, still managed to get kind of hurt. So you can deal 26 damage, which means we can actually afford to draw out power here. Oh, whoa, and that heals a whole lot at this PD level. Holy cow. So never mind everything else I was going to say. That worked great. Way better than I expected, honestly. I'll take it. Dream Sheep, if you'd like to come this way. Cane Toad, excuse me? You weren't there a moment ago. This became a nightmare real quick. Let's just try and blast all these Dream Sheep as soon as we can so that we're not dealing with that. In fact, I think I will use the last charge of my Lightning Rod just to ensure the Cane Toad is taken care of. Jeez Louise, that got way rougher than I expected. Rupert? Excuse me. And you confused me too. That's fantastic. Okay. Well, we just have to survive long enough for a teleport to take effect. If we step next to you, I'm guessing we're dead. It's likely at least. Or possible, I should say, at the very least. Remember, draw power. The downside is minimal. Just magic points we aren't using and exhaustion, which does nothing except prevents. Yeah, no, definitely need to keep it in the forefront of my mind. And I think I do have to use curing. Okay, it turns out we were super close to the teleport trigger, so maybe it wasn't as necessary as I expected. Still glad we did so. Rupert, are you also aware that we got teleported right here, or just the sheep? Because just the sheep I can deal with. If Rupert comes back, we're immediately going into panic mode once more. Please don't find me, sir. Okay, let's try and sneak out of here. And now we're in a much better spot. So can I fight you? It's going to be rough. And we could have gotten rid of Confuse with draw power as well, right? Yeah, we would have had more max HP drain. But that's a very nice thing to keep in mind. Save curing for the poison, eh? Good stuff, good stuff. But let's start this off, shall we? Phantom Mirror. What's Rupert's worst enemy, if not themselves? Switch over to some Curari. Not great odds to hit. And unfortunately, we don't manage to do so, but that's A-okay. And, geez, have to scroll through all my quivers here as I accidentally make a mistake in that regard. And what do I wish to do with you, Rupert, pal? Definitely need to slow you down so that Pseudo Rupert can join the party. What are your odds of paralyzing me right now? That's also probably important. 29% chance. Okay. Do I want to lose 4 AC to reduce that chance down to negligible? I think so. I think that might even be necessary. And dang, okay, you've gone berserk. So now you get scary. We have a 13% chance to paralyze you, so we could try that. We also have Power Leap as a good escape option here, I believe. So I think I'm gonna start with a swing. Maybe get some more poison on you. Fantastic. Please don't put us to sleep. Dream Sheep, I'm not ready for that right now. Let's instead go Power Leap, jump out this way, walk down to our friendly Rupert. Beautiful. Friendly Rupert, if you could please do some work here. Like maybe berserk yourself. A bit late, honestly. Probably could have used that a moment earlier, but hey, I can't complain too much. You did exactly what I asked. Ouch. Okay, that, yeah, very much hurts. But we did manage to blast once. One more blast should get us pretty close to doing the trick, especially with the poison. Rupert barely misses himself. Stop hitting yourself. And one more ice blast. There we go. Jeez Louise, Rupert. I did not expect to come across you. But we managed to make it through in one piece, and that's all that really matters at the end of the day here. So with that, we can finish off the rest of the floor, hopefully having gone through the toughest fight for now. Beautiful. And then last but not least, I wanted to walk in here, immediately step out because the corrosion worked. Essentially, we're going to switch over to boomerangs and try this out. Oh, we definitely only want to see one of you in line of sight. There we go. That's much better. Ah, that's much worse. Doesn't look like we're making it through these buddies, chunking it by, at least for the moment, until we get some resistance to corrosion or something like that. So we'll have to say goodbye for the time being. Let's also switch back to our AC ring. That would be a decent idea. And let's go back out to the regular dungeon, shall we? Explored down a decent amount of our lair here. Things are looking good. But before we head into the S branches, let's do just a little bit more work out here. Hopefully not run into too many invisible enemies here or there. And we should be looking pretty good, all things considered. As the Manticore claws the absolute crap out of us. Ooh. And Cyclops. I don't actually know how we fare against, so let's try and poke past the Centaur zombie for now. I was hoping to get some poison on you. You're not wearing anything special. How is none of this poison? Ah, never mind, I spoke too soon. Here goes the poison now. Fantastic. We'll keep this poke action up. We will probably eventually accidentally kill the Centaur zombie here with our attempts. But ideally, the Cyclops is dead by then. Also, dang it, why did they swap positions? It registered in my head, like it was a few turns back, obviously. So it registered, but it didn't fully, the implications didn't trickle through the matrices there. So this is definitely scarier than I might otherwise like, but okay. Managed to make it through in one piece. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Ah, but a real melee is quite scary. At this moment, we don't have poison resistance on. Oh, we actually don't have our reflection amulet on, so hold up, rewind, take me out. Let's switch to that. Fantastic, looking better. Melee are still going to be quite scary, but ideally a bit more manageable. Please don't turn into an elemental. Color, perfect. The corrosion we can handle, at least in these small batches. Jeez Louise. Ah, and there we go. Now the melee is unfortunately in an even worse position than we originally were seeing. You never want a smiter behind a high health target here. Not looking great for us, so let's go with something undodgeable and just try and blast this dang bee priest out of existence. Beautiful. Exactly as intended. Let's let the Boulder Beetle roll into the Hydra, I think is what just happened there. Interesting. Then we can poison you, friend, and in fact, once you're poisoned enough to die, I'm going to start walking away so we can reset the fight. Before taking on the Hydra themselves, we do have a perfect little stairwell here for dancing. In fact, let's take you upstairs, shall we? So we can run away if we start taking too much damage, like so. Slightly risky positioning here, don't love it. What are our odds of like paralyzing you? 41%? Beautiful. We started off this run failing like 17 coin flips in a row, and now we just can't lose them. RNG giveth and RNG taketh away. That's for sure. Let's get back going here. Unfortunately, Venom isn't going to do a lot against you, but reflecting your own stone arrows back into your face, that does the trick. Fantastic. For you, friend, we will switch over to poison darts and poison stick. Stabby, stab, stab, stab. Fantastic. And the vampire, yet again another potentially painful fight. Turns out not so bad, but anytime we're not able to fully leverage our poison, we're definitely sitting slightly worse than I might otherwise like. Please let me rest up. Where'd you go? Keep swinging blindly. I'm guessing this is an unseen horror based on their movements. Also, absolutely, oops, let's not stab ourselves. There we go. Just slapping my numpad there to make the moves. Oh, Jesus. No. Invisible Orc Knight? I don't think so. I would have liked to take the invisibility potion for myself, if we're being honest, but... Oh, jeez. You're still here. How many Ice Blasts do you have, friend? Holy moly. Well, no reason to finish this fight. Let's definitely run away and heal up. And then we should be able to actually fight straight up after the fact. Just had to reset. Also, stop. Stop using the wand, sir, please. Oh, so rough. Exceptionally brutal, but we make it out in one piece, and that's all that matters. And then more Cyclops. There was a bit of a theme to this area, for sure. Please throw rocks at me. I was hoping to reflect some giant boulders back their way, but it is what it is. +7 short sword of venom. Wow, I'm very glad we didn't fight that melee eye when we first saw them. That's rough. We'll immediately read our lovely ID scrolls, though. Finally finding our scroll of blinking. Wonderful. Oh, and also, I forgot that Scale Mail of Pride has poison resistance. Why am I so worried about poison resistance? In fact, we shouldn't even be wearing this. We should definitely be wearing the electrical version. Whoops. But the other thing I wanted to check is this plate armor. How much of an increase is this? Because we might immediately undo the decision we just made. AC goes up by 2 is not huge, but this is enchantable. I kind of want to save my enchant armor scrolls for gold dragon scales or crystal plate. Maybe, just maybe, if that shows up. That would be pretty sweet. But it's tempting for sure. Get an innate pip of fire resistance. Let's drop some rocks and at least pick you up for now, and we can decide. That wand use, can you imagine someone coming into the dungeon and repeatedly using invocables to solve difficult situations against tough opponents? Such rudeness. Right? Just unforgivable. There's no way that we could ever abide by and let someone do ridiculous stuff like that, right? Just not okay. Wait, why are you looking at me funny? Okie dokie, we'll keep moving on through here. More ID scrolls, not too bad. Can check that buddy out. Dispersal boomerangs, don't have to worry about. Ooh, and I never like you sons of guns. It's so hard when you're not visible to us, unfortunately, but Beautiful, we managed to take them down still. Skeletal Warriors, actually also scary in their own regard. Yet another critter that doesn't care whatsoever for our poison damage. Oh geez. Centaur Warrior. Okay, Skeletal Warrior, you're supposed to be our body blocker. Please, sir. Please step between me and my fears. Okay, never mind. Centaur Warrior accidentally reflected their own arrow into their face and died. That works too. Your first troll found +1 crystal plate on D2, admittedly in a shop. You'll forever feel wrong until someone gets some crystal plate and it helps them. Oh yes, the classic DCSS experience. Always finding things on characters that aren't quite as useful. Even though I always kind of forget on the armor limitations of trolls. We've played so many over the years, and in fact in this very series we played a decent number based on how those runs went. They can wear dragon scales. They can't wear crystal plate, right? I feel like that falls under more classical armor denominations, as it were. Because yeah, the majority of my crystal plates show up on Felid runs, of course, Spriggans, hard casters that have no use for it whatsoever, all that good stuff, of course. And onwards we go. Beautiful. Would definitely like some source of seeing visible. Hello, Shadow. Proving my point immediately. Appreciate it. But we'll make do with what we got, and there we go. Finally, another sacrifice. We can sacrifice Essence. Ooh, weak-willed. So I think we can essentially lose a pip of willpower. That's a rough one. Sacrificing words. Does that mean no scroll reading? Because that's also very rough. Sacrifice the ability to use magical scrolls while threatened. Okay, so more like the mutation effect, where when we take a bad hit, we have a chance to be unable to read scrolls. Still bad. Still very scary. Love, I don't think we'll be sacrificing because it is kind of built into our abilities right now. Last but not least, that Essence. Will minus. That's rough. It is a major sacrifice, so that's something. Or if you had the devs code in Cologne Car, the god of encumbrance, whose only abilities were one more inventory slot per piety pip, would you auto-worship them? See, instantaneously I want to be like, oh yeah, that would solve so many of my problems, but I just know, on some level in the back of my mind, that it would do nothing. I'd just have more crap clogging up my inventory, and still just constantly scratching my head, being like, oh, what do I throw out here? I want to carry around all this useless stuff that I might never touch or make use of whatsoever. It's important. What if it comes in handy in the future? For reasons like that, or thought patterns like that, which is why my partner constantly refers to me as a hoarder, because I always want to hold on for things just in case they might come in handy that one day in the future under very specific, strict circumstances. Maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what we'll be looking for. And won't you be sad when you made me throw it out? Won't we all be living in regret of such a horrifying day? 60 is the same inventory as 52, and that last spot is still the last spot. Exactly. And my inventory management problems, no bounds. There's an unlimited number of spots that I could find myself wasting. Don't you doubt for a minute. But okay, sacrificing Essence is very scary. It's the only sacrifice out of these three that I'm even debating, at the very least. We'll be struggling with the rest of the game to not get paralyzed and banished. We have okay willpower now. We can kind of get over it too, which is nice. If we find a single artifact that gives like 2, maybe even 3 pips of willpower, there you go. Problem solved. No issue whatsoever. But until then, how risky am I feeling? Am I feeling lucky, punk? It's a decent sacrifice, gets us to the next point here, which may be when we get Apocalypse. Been waiting for that skill to come into effect, so that might be pretty sweet. I guess this is the whole dealio with Rue. The constant calculus you have to run. Is it worth sacrificing it? Because I could just reject for the first time and see if we get something slightly more tenable in the future. Would be nice. It's just bad. My fingers are twitching to just say, screw it. We're fine. We can be weak-willed. But then I just think back to not so long ago that we lost a specific Palantonga, a good old holy roller, to low willpower in Zot 5. And it was just horrifying, traumatic experience for all the Palantonga generations that came, yeah, Palantonga. I almost said pangolin, but that's the real world animal. Palantongas is right. Oh me, oh my. Decisions. Maybe I can't worship Rue too often because I already struggle so much with decision making in my own life. I don't need more of those thrown at me. I can stall out for half my stream here, just weighing, thinking, debating. You know what? Fingers twitching. Let's just go for it. I might regret this. In fact, I almost definitely will. Let's check it out. And we can now wreak a terrible wrath on our foes. So there we go. Apocalypse now. Let's take a look. Reveals Rue's truth to your enemies, dealing severe damage to all enemies in your line of sight. Affected creatures may become paralyzed, slow, or have their magic drained. Damage dealt increases with your piety and experience level. So, I'm pretty sure this ability does ridiculous amounts of damage. Also, getting those status effects is pretty huge. I didn't realize that magic draining was involved in there. That's very interesting to me. But I'm excited to try that out, hopefully, before it's a last minute thing and while it still is possible to save ourselves. But who's to say?